What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You're dead meat! Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James. And we're married, and we like to get scared together. Oh, I almost bungled the big line that everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. We're married.
Yeah.
We did it. It only
Yeah.
took 2 years of waiting. Oh my God. We did it.
We did it, and it was the fucking best. And that's actually kind of what we're going to be talking about today. We figured today, first episode back in, 2 months or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured it'd be a real casual episode. And in this episode, we will discuss the things we've been up to, including the wedding and that little cameo in Scream.
Yeah, I guess. What? Is that a spoiler? Is it a spoiler?
Look, it's been out.
It's been out.
If you wanted to see it, you either saw it or you couldn't due to COVID, in which case, I'm sorry. But, you definitely didn't hear it first from us. It's been posted all over.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that because I tweeted about it, but probably too early, and everyone got mad at me.
You tweeted the day that the movie came out, and you were
It was
like...
the day the embargoes were up, so I thought, okay, I can tweet about it. I just didn't think my dumbass would be a spoiler.
And you asked me, and I was like, I'm gonna wait. And you did it. And then you had some people reply. And then you deleted it very quickly. So
yeah, I got scared. I know everyone was yelling at me.
it's okay, honey. It's all right.
Yeah, we're just gonna hang out. It's our first episode back. Let's just vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I'm feeling great about being back here. Not only because I love the podcast, but today we posted that, today as in the day we're filming this, posted that highlight reel that a fan made.
So good.
And it's just...
Do you have their name?
They just wanted to be linked in their YouTube channel, so we'll throw the link to their channel in this description as well. Yeah. But yeah, they posted that on the subreddit. It was a 9-minute video. I figured I would watch it and then, probably turn it off after 30 seconds. No, I watched the whole thing. When it ended, I wanted more. And that seems to be the consensus among a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just 9 minutes of this podcast out of context. And I hope that it reaches people who don't normally watch or haven't seen the podcast or listened to it, so that I think maybe people think this is a serious show or something.
It can be.
It can be, but...
There's also a lot of butthole talk, apparently.
Yeah. We talk so much about poop. I never realized how much we talk about poop and child murder.
Yeah, those happen a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
got
happens.
me excited too. I was like, oh yeah,
It's a fun show.
This is gonna be fun.
It's good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we get crazy over here.
I guess, how about we start with Scream? Because that's probably a shorter tale than talking about the wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, we should talk about the movie too, because I know people want to hear what we think
Oh,
about
I can't
it.
do a full thing on the movie because
Should that just be its own thing?
Yeah, maybe when it comes out on Blu-ray or home release, because I want to watch it with some notes and then talk about it, because I want to give that the full attention. I mean, short condensed version is I fucking loved it.
I really love it, and
Yeah.
not just because we're in it.
Not just because we're in it, and not just because we're friends with Radio Silence who came to our wedding, which was dope.
That was pretty cool.
And just so that people don't think that we're just categorically praising it, I will say there was no chase scene, and I wish there was. Mm-hmm. Chase scenes are kind of pivotal to Scream. And, I don't know, I just love the rest of it. There were some I wish there were a few more moments of the legendary 3, the legacy characters together.
Yeah,
and maybe
all
some more,
3 of them.
And maybe some more emotion based on what happens in there, seeing more of that explored. But overall, I loved it.
Solid movie.
It's a great Scream movie that's an update of the franchise in the modern horror. I think, people have said this on Twitter that Scream movies work best when they're a state of the union about the current landscape of the horror genre. And I think that this movie was perfectly that.
Yeah, this movie, it kind of touches on everything that's, elevated horror and
requels,
the nature of fandom, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it funny. I don't know if I found it scary, but
There's a few scenes that if not scary, I just was like, ooh, like this is
the whole
mood of it.
Dylan Minnette scene is suspenseful and funny at the same time in the way that they do it. I love that scene. I love the production design in that scene. So good to see Judy's house just match her character perfectly. And she's a character who in Scream 4,
Yes,
I'm like,
I will fully say, I think in our big kind of overview of Scream that we filmed in costume, I was like, I don't know if I love Sheriff Judy. Like, I think I was pretty on her.
Yeah.
But I love her in this new movie. I think she's so funny. Like, she's written so perfectly.
And it's like, it's the same character.
It is. It's like the character's not different, but I think that they use parts of that character's personality to such good effect.
Yeah, and it makes me retroactively like her more in Scream 4.
Yeah,
like
same.
It's so like great work with that.
Also, she was a really nice person.
Marley Shelton, yeah, she was.
I
very
really like
nice,
talking to her.
Her
a
and
lot.
Dylan together were
When we
nice.
interviewed those two, we got the like, okay, please hang up thing from the studio.
We got that a lot.
We got that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The studios probably hate us interviewing everyone because we just want to hang out.
So just let us hang out with your cast, man.
Yeah. So I guess we'll talk about the wedding more, I promise. But can we talk about how Scream even happened? Like,
yeah, because I'm sure lots of people were like, how did you wind up in the movie? We've been
keeping that secret since March.
March 2021.
It's been eating us alive.
Yeah. So March 2021, we were still in that, God, that was like still kind of, that was pre-vaccine. So that was still during like the dark era where we had moved into the house and we were just like. I was
taking a break too from I can't remember if that's when I took some time off. I needed a little break.
Mm-hmm. But I just remember, it was during that like darker period of time where we had recently moved into the house. It was still under a lot of construction and work, so like it didn't feel like a home yet. And
like not really being able to have people over.
Exactly. That sucked. We have an awesome house and it's great to have people over to entertain, but we couldn't back then. And then what, you got a text from them?
I got a text. I forget, maybe Tyler. And he was like, hey, could you and James do us a favor? And I feel like we instantly knew what it was.
We had an inkling.
We're like, yeah, a favor.
And if you didn't know, the Radio Silence guys, there's Matt, Chad, and Tyler, all great guys. We initially came into contact with them when I covered Ready or Not on the Kill Count, because that was their previous movie before Scream. And I uploaded it, and it got blocked by a copyright claim. And I tweeted about it, and they messaged me on Twitter. I forget who did it. Maybe their Radio Silence account. Maybe it was Matt. But they were like, hey, we're big fans of your work, and we want to see this video, so we're going to help you get it unblocked. And I was like, what the fuck? The
it came
people
out
who
of
made
nowhere.
this movie? Yeah, so they did that. They helped get it unblocked.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because, we both love Ready or Not. We rewatched it recently. Still holds up. Great.
Mm-hmm. It's a wedding movie, so it was perfect.
Exactly, yeah. And then after that interaction, we had them on the Dead Meat podcast on this very show.
And it just was like, I felt like we'd known them forever kind of thing, because they come from such a similar background. They got their start doing YouTube, and you can hear all about it in our episode with them.
I think Matt, Chad, and Rob was the name of the channel. They did sketch comedy, which is how we started.
That's how we got our start too.
Sketch comedy on YouTube. They came over to our apartment for that podcast and like geeked out over the Kill Count set.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that episode, the camera card filled up like
we had a
5 minutes into film.
There's a few episodes where that happens, and it sucks. I always hate when it happens.
So there is video of the intro of that podcast.
The camera just dies.
And then it dies, and the rest of it is just
At
audio
least with
wavelengths.
those guys, they know.
They understand,
they've surely worked on something where that's happening.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen with anyone.
Like, we just hit it off with them so well because they're seriously so nice. Such cool guys.
Yeah. And then, we just kind of knew exactly what they were going to ask us to do. And what's so cool is they gave us pages of the script, which I'm probably not allowed to share, but I do eventually want to print them out because we're Chelsea and James in the script, which is, I think that was the thing when they sent us the pages. I was like, dude, James, we're just Chelsea and James in a Scream movie. and we had no context for any of it. They were just like, you're kind of playing a parody of yourselves and like, you know, movie review sites, and basically just be like really douchey. And then I had to redecorate this set and make sure
to take out anything that was
I had
like
to cover up
too-
anything copyrighted. Which I worked in art departments. I was like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were like, we can film it on the podcast set. I think it'll go great, but we'll make the adjustments that we think are needed.
Yeah.
And we did. It was a phone call initially with the three of them, and then we set up a group chat that we still use literally to this day.
That group chat is always popping. Yeah.
Yeah, and we filmed it here on the set, obviously.
They were like, here's the script, but you can like ad lib if you want. And we just kind of sent them. We did like almost like a rehearsal take that we sent, and just so they could see the setup and what it would look like. Then they gave us the go ahead to film the actual thing. And what was cool is, you know, I mean, neither of us have seen ourselves like that in a movie talking. We're SAG eligible now, which is very exciting.
We got our saggy fucking letters right away.
Yeah. But what was neat is we had total control over what we sent them. So there was no anxiety going to see it like, oh man, I hope I don't suck.
Like, I hope they use the right take that we want. No, we did a bunch of takes of our lines.
We just said
and
that
then
like
Chelsea,
these are the best ones.
Yeah, edited together.
So that was cool. I wasn't
choices.
like super anxious going to see it or anything because I knew what was gonna be there.
Yeah, we had watched
and they
it.
sent us a cut of it. They were like, oh, here's like you guys in the movie, but they kind of censored any like revealing information. So James and I watched it. So we were just sitting there listening, trying to figure out like who's in the back, who is that talking, like who's on the phone
there's
with
someone
this
on a
character.
phone,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like
We were convinced that we would be right after the title card. We thought the cold open would happen,
Yeah.
that it would involve Stab, then the title card would hit, and then it would cut to us like talking shit about Stab. That was not the case. I'm glad the cold open didn't involve Stab again, or like wasn't a Stab movie again. They did that in Scream 4,
Yeah.
so that's fine. But yeah, we are not dead meat in the movie.
No, we're
we
film
are
fails.
Film fails. I wore a hat to differentiate myself.
I wish our graphics for this were as good as they are in that movie. The film fails like
Was it lazy, sloppy filmmaking?
yeah, with like primary colors, font, and
Yeah.
like a fart noise. I don't know what else is going on there. But I was like, damn, graphic design is their passion.
We technically share a scene with Matthew Lillard since he's playing the chrome-faced
That's
ghost face
right.
with the flamethrower.
Technically, we're in a movie in a scene with Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was him until I think I'd seen the movie twice and I was reading an article. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's cool. We'll have to bring that up to him.
Yeah.
When we meet him. If
Hi,
we
we were
do.
in a movie with you.
Hi.
Technically.
We did bring that up with Jack
Jack
Quaid. We were like,
Quaid,
you were
hi,
watching
we were
us.
in your movie. You were watching us on the laptop. Did you know that?
Well, there's the added silly little complication that when we were doing They Talk, I was doing a live stream, and I mentioned in They Talk that an upcoming episode was Scream, and that I would be playing Ghostface. Dead Meat Shorts, love the channel, clipped that of I will be playing Ghostface and posted it out of context. And so people thought that you can Google and find people being like, is James A. Janisse going to be the next Ghostface in Scream? No, obviously not. In no world would that happen.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of confusion there. But then that started getting posted. And I was like, no, but we are going to be in Scream, but it's a secret. Like, we didn't tell anyone.
Didn't tell anyone. I told my parents.
We
and
told our housemates, the
'cause
Gressels.
Clearly, they're gonna hear us recording.
Yeah. And just we were so pumped. But like we tamped that down
It was so
and kept it secret.
hard. Do you guys know how? Like,
From March to January.
it just was like, here, sign this NDA about the coolest shit ever, and it was,
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, people have asked, what is the coolest thing that you've gotten to do with the channel? And my answer has been, for 2 years now, going to the Stanley Hotel and talking to Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Because that was fucking amazing.
It was, yeah.
It's finally been surpassed.
Yeah.
Because we're in a Scream movie.
It's
like, the
kinda
series
hard.
that made me fall in love with horror movies.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
I think the coolest thing has been I've been emailing one of my professors from college back and forth because we invited him to the wedding and he couldn't come. Understandably, we're far away.
Yeah.
But I told him, like, you gotta go see. Cause he was the one who I took the horror history and theory class with.
He was your
kinda
Scream. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of started it all for me in terms of just like analyzing horror and like the history of it, and I remembered that semester Scream 4 came out.
Yep.
And we were talking about Scream 4 in that class. And so I emailed him like, so the movie hadn't come out. I think it was coming out in like a couple days.
But they just filmed there in our college town.
What? And
Scream 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They also filmed it there. And so, I emailed him a few days before the movie came out and was like, so you should go see the new Scream. And you should know that, like, I'm in, like, a Scream movie because of your class. And
right.
that's been the coolest thing for me is, like, look like holy shit.
Yeah, and we've gotten so many tweets and comments of people, like, telling us they saw us, telling us that it's awesome, congratulating us, saying they screamed in the theater. I wish we could respond to every single one, but like know that I have seen all of them and that every time it makes me feel good. Like, thank you. It's
been so cool. And what's been cool is at least I haven't seen, I'm sure it exists, anyone being like, oh, they had to put dead meat, like sick of those guys.
Yeah. It's been a positive response. I really like that. I'm glad that we're part of a movie that I genuinely love and think is really good and like probably my second favorite Scream movie after the original.
It's a good thing that like since day one we've been like, no, we're excited for these dudes to make it, because how much egg on our face if we were like, oh, they're doing another Scream, they shouldn't, and then they ask us to be in it and we're like, just kidding. We've always been a fan of this new Scream.
Well, that was like, it's funny because that was what I initially said when I covered Scream 4 before this movie was ever even a conversation of like, I hope they don't make another one without Wes Craven. But then they announced this one with them attached. And I was like, well, Ready or Not was great, so I trust the radio silence guys. And I think I was saying that even before they were on the podcast or maybe after.
Yeah.
But since they were announced, I have been confident in the film. And I'm glad that was not misplaced. I know that some people thought that it didn't stray enough from the Scream template, which I can agree with. It was very much a Scream movie. You watch those 4 movies, they follow the Scream template. Like, there's a formula. There's a formula, as Randy would say, and Scream 5 sticks to that formula.
Yeah.
Maybe too much, but like, I still loved it and loved it as a Scream movie.
Yeah.
It's
a nice, like, cozy movie. I don't know how else.
All the Scream movies are
they're
cozy.
Like, Scream is very cozy. For sure. Yeah, so I guess that's that.
Yeah,
again,
fingers crossed that they make...
I can't believe we kept it a secret.
My hope is that they make Scream 6, because Scream 5 did so well, and then we get to come back and get killed.
Kill us.
Because listen, Cotton Weary was just shown on the TV real fast in Scream 1. And that guy came back in Scream 2 and got killed in Scream 3. Murder us.
He's also Liev Schreiber, though.
Yeah, but did Liev Schreiber have a YouTube channel?
That's true. Dude, he would have a great YouTube. He could do like video essays where he just talks for 4 hours.
For sure.
Yeah. Got a good voice.
It is. I love Cotton Weary is one of my favorite characters of the
Cotton
Scream
Weary is
series.
such a cool. We're just gonna talk about Scream. He's a nice like gray area character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, want to talk to you about our first sponsor this week, Dadgrass. Have you been interested in the medicinal benefits of weed but are nervous about getting too high? Or have you needed to stop smoking entirely because weed makes you really paranoid? A bad high super sucks. But that's where Dadgrass comes in. Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that's really low in THC and high in CBD. That means you'll get all the great benefits of weed without getting stoned. It's super mellow. I really, really like this stuff. I keep some on my nightstand for those nights where I can't sleep, or even if I'm really sore after working out one day, I know that I'm about to be really sore after getting back into exercise after taking a long break. It's not gonna be pretty. CBD helps so much. The best is that Dadgrass is really accessible. It's federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/deadmeat. Go to dadgrass.com/deadmeat for 20% off your first order. One more time, that's dadgrass.com/deadmeat. Our next sponsor for this week is Keeps. So I keep looking at our photos from wedding week, and I'm so happy for James because his hair looks incredible. He has genetic hair loss that runs in the family, and it's something that he's been nervous about basically since we started dating, and he's been taking preventative hair loss medication for several years. It's worked like a charm. His hair looks exactly the same as the day that I met him. Keeps is a simple, stress-free way to get the same kind of treatment. They offer virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered right to you every 3 months. Those medications are FDA approved, and Keeps also offers the generic versions. So it's cheap, you can start treatment at just $10 a month. If you want to prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/deadmeat to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/deadmeat to get your first month free. keeps.com/deadmeat. Our last sponsor this week is AMC Shudder. Our friends at Shudder simply have the best collection of horror flicks anywhere around. I always love looking at their ad copy that they send me to read because they give me a list of new stuff and it's always very exciting. They just released this documentary all about folk horror called Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched. Yes, it sounds right up my alley. They've got an accompanying collection of films too, featuring 2 of my top 3 horror films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Wicker Man, the original, of course. I would have actually never thought to put those 2 films together like that in like a folk horror collection, but it makes total sense because they're both kind of rooted in these parts of their respective cultures that are really primal and animalistic, and we tamp down on it because we're scared of it. It's so good. So if you love horror, obviously you do, you'll love Shudder too. Right now, you can stream your first 30 days of Shudder for free. Go to shudder.com and use code DEADMEAT. That's SHUDDER.com/deadmeat to stream your first 30 days of Shudder for free. One more time, shudder.com/deadmeat.
Now, I guess, people probably want to hear a little bit about this little wedding. Oh my God, I'm not wearing my ring.
You fucked up. You gotta get in the habit.
I'm still not in the habit. It's a little big. We're getting it resized.
Yeah. And also you don't typically wear like jewelry, so.
I've never worn jewelry, so it's a foreign concept to me. When we leave the house more, I intend to wear it every time I leave the house. But, most days are spent working and being at home.
Yeah, I mean, like most days just at home, I usually don't put on, like I didn't put on the engagement ring or anything.
Yeah.
Because you're just at home.
Yeah.
Especially if like, you shouldn't wear it in the shower. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't wear it when you're working out. Just or cleaning.
And I clean a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Cooking, but I will wear it when we go out.
Yeah.
I promise. You can show that I'm tagged.
Yeah.
I will be proud to wear it. But yes, we finally got married. We got engaged in September of 2019.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm excited to kind of like share all this stuff because, I mean, it's not like I want to always be sharing our personal lives because we're kind of private. Like, that's not what we do. We're not like vlogging about our lives or anything. But this, it was just it
was just so fucking great.
Yeah.
I just want to live in it forever.
Yeah. I want to talk all about it. It was so fun.
Yeah. So we got engaged in September 2019. At that point, we had been together for 7 years when we got engaged.
Yes.
Or we're going on 10 years.
We're about to be 10 years this August.
In August, yeah. Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell it's so funny how the engagement pictures, my hair is so short.
Yeah, it's great. I love that it's like a time lapse of
like how long. And honestly, you know what? I'm glad I had the time to grow my hair out for the wedding.
I know. I told you everything would be okay, even though we had to postpone it twice.
I know.
And it worked out for the best, I think.
Yeah.
Considering how the event was. But yeah, we got engaged in September 2019 before COVID was ever even a thing. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is that we got engaged after our, 2 of our best friends, Mike and Beth, had been engaged. And their wedding was in March of 2020. It was literally
It was the
1
week before everyone went on lockdown.
Yeah, their 1 week anniversary was spent going to the grocery store and stocking up because like things were about to go on lockdown. And I remember at the wedding joking about like, oh, I hope COVID doesn't like shut us all down. It did, but so our initial engagement period was kind of like, at least as far as our friends go, because they were in the wedding party and we shared wedding party members, it was a lot of like, all right, when they're done,
then we can do our bachelor, bachelorette, and engagement part, just like all the little things that you do, like, well, we gotta wait till our friends get married, so we're not being weird and taking attention away.
Exactly. And their wedding was March 2020 and ours was set for October 2020, so plenty of time after theirs was done for us to have our period of wedding planning. We did get our wedding planner
Thank God.
probably in late 2019. And Kate, Weddings by Kate, fucking phenomenal
Just
person,
saved
human being,
Our lives.
stuck with us the entire 2 years.
I don't know how we could have done
couldn't
this
have.
without
No.
her or a planner in general.
Yeah.
Because, wow, rescheduling this thing was the biggest headache.
Yeah, as COVID happened, that was the first thing on our minds was, is this going to affect the wedding? And COVID lockdown started happening in March of 2020, and we were like, well, I was like, I think by October it should be okay, right? You were...
I was the eternal pessimist, and I
yes.
was always correct, which was really depressing. It, didn't help being right.
Yeah, but pretty quickly we realized October wasn't going to happen. Like, by summer, it wasn't going to happen. And, we live very fortunate, privileged lives, and we never like to take that for granted. But it was a damper to be like, when are we going to get to have this thing?
Yeah.
And I know that people throughout, some people were like, well, you can just, get married and then have a party afterward. But that's not the same to us.
No, like us personally, we both value, there's something about, the ceremony of it and the sharing with family and friends and having it be a big event. That's important to me.
Yeah.
I understand that that's not important to everyone.
And that's cool if it's not.
But I guess, I hate the idea that it's like, oh, you want a big wedding. That means that you don't actually care about the marriage. You just want to have a party kind of thing. And that kind of always rubs me the wrong way. No, I want to celebrate this big life event with people. And, you're only going to get married once.
Yeah, literally, at least for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So we wanted to have it be what we wanted. And so that meant waiting. And I think I forget when we rescheduled
it to January of 2021.
Did we? I thought it was pushed to July.
We pushed it originally to, because I remember, or did we push it to? No, I think we pushed it to June or July.
Yeah.
And then we pushed it again to November.
I think
literally
I
forget
think there were
how
soft
many.
postponements of should we but I think we did send out another save the date to all of our guests for June or July
summer wedding,
2021.
Yeah.
Hoping that would work. It did not.
Yeah.
And so we did have to send out a third save the date, which at that point is a little embarrassing,
It was honestly kind of humiliating.
Yeah.
That was part of it too. And it's everyone understands it's not your fault, but it does have to suck being just kidding.
And it's confusing. People move in that time.
Really, yeah, that sucked too. Having to send invites over the course of several years, people moved, people died.
Some people died.
Yeah, people splitting up. So we had to keep going through our guest list to make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
And that sucked. It felt like the stress of getting all of the if you planned a wedding or just a big event, the guest list is the worst fucking part.
And our guest list was initially supposed to be 250 people, which is a large amount of people for a wedding. But we wanted to invite all of our family and friends. And friends was really important to us. We are very, we're good with our family, our immediate family. Maybe I'm less close to my extended family. You're pretty good with your extended family.
Yeah,
but they're
not
also all
super
in Michigan.
close, but I wanted them all there. But yeah, everyone's in Michigan, and my family's older too.
Yeah, but and we've built a large network of friends out here. We moved out here with a lot of U of M grads who we graduated with or knew in college. And I still say, there were probably 50 or 60 people who we graduated with at the wedding.
Yeah.
We have such a strong, awesome group of friends out here. And
yeah,
we're really lucky to have them. But friends are very important to us. They're the family that we chose and the family who has been there with us on a daily basis throughout our growth these past 10 years that we've been living out here.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing with the wedding too, is it felt like our families getting to actually meet so many people that they kind of just hear about, but their parents are wondering constantly, who are kids around all the time? You know, who are they friends with? And I think it was I think, at least I know my parents were like, it was really nice getting to actually see these are the people, and it made them feel like better, you know. It's like, we're far away from you guys, but you guys have like really good people around you, and it was nice. Yeah.
So from that initial 250 list, we actually downsized a lot.
It's like
we ended up with 160 people at the wedding, and that was because of just a lot of people couldn't travel because of the COVID and just the cost of it and everything. And so it wound up that my only blood relatives at the wedding were my parents, my mom and dad. Literally didn't have any other relatives there.
I had 3 blood relatives there. My parents and my aunt.
Yeah.
Oh, and my sister.
And your sister and your aunt's husband, who's not blood, but family.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, you had 3 extra family members besides your parents.
Yeah.
The rest was all friends and acquaintances. And, like, you know, I'm sad that the family couldn't be there, but as far as the people who know us best, it's the friends, it's the people who were there. It's not people who, like, we just knew when we were younger, and at least for me, check in very sporadically. I wish more could have been there, but I'm happy with the people who came, because especially the people who came, and a lot of them were kind of last minute invites.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you have a wedding.
Yeah.
And this is the most stressful thing, maybe. One of the most stressful things is when you tell your venue, okay, we're gonna have 200 some people there. You sign a contract saying you will have at least this many people
and
there.
You will pay for that.
And you were gonna pay for that. And so we were coming in like
way low.
Like really low.
And again, Kate, amazing, negotiated it so that we paid for fewer people and got more, like, the money that we would have spent on the other people got to go to other cool stuff, like extra food and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like when we initially started the guest list, I'd be like, hey, parents, who should I invite? And they would give me all the extended family. I'd be like, all right, that's a lot, but I'll put them on the list. And then none of them came.
Yeah.
So when all those people bailed, it's a month before the wedding, and we just start messaging everyone. If like, hey, I know this is last minute, but you want to come to this wedding? And so many of them said yes.
Say yes.
So many of them came, and that is like, oh, then those people really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something they had to plan for. Like, they got told about it a couple of weeks ahead of time, and were like, yeah, I'll be there. And they came and had a good time, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool just seeing how many people last minute were like, yes, like abs, like Darcy the mail girl. God bless.
Yes, she was at her wedding.
Minute, like, she came and, her date had his tie around his head. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did have an entire table of horror people.
We had the spooky table.
The spooky table that had the Radio Silence guys, Heather, Bonnie Aarons, Heather Langenkamp, who did officiate the wedding.
Yeah.
Who, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
We met her at a convention, Texas Frightmare, and then did that escape room charity event with her, where we got to talk to her more in a smaller, more intimate group. And that was right before we got engaged. But we got to know her really well enough to invite to the podcast, which that episode is available to watch. Right after filming that podcast, before she left the apartment, we were like,
do you want to officiate our wedding? And she said, yeah. Like, just right then, she was like, okay, yeah.
And that was with the initial date of October 2020.
2019, we asked her, I think.
And she...
Or early 2020.
And again, she's another person who's stuck with us those 2 years.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Texted you on the initial wedding date and just told you to keep your head up. And... you know, we've talked to some friends who have gotten married and some who have had to do it in the church, and they have a clergyman marry them who doesn't really know them. Like, they'll have a brief interview with them ahead of time, but like is just doing it for the ceremony part. Heather like got to know us so well.
Yeah.
And spoke to us both as a couple very intimately, and then also as individuals, just to get to know how we work as a couple and how we think of each other as individuals. And her
oh my God.
Speech,
there was not a dry eye in the house. And I wasn't, because I'm not really a crier.
No.
But then also the entire day I was sobbing. It's so wild how, like, I don't really cry at stuff. But the like emotions of a wedding day, I was like, fuck. It was,
and like, I think I've said it before on the podcast. I like crying. I think it's like, it's just a cathartic, emotional thing that I don't know. It's like that's what being human is.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of level of emotion. And I might cry more than you, honestly.
Maybe.
Like in
I
response
guess it
to like
depends.
movies and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe in like response to.
Yeah. But,
Sure.
But that day, both of us were just blubbering messes
It was
the entire ceremony.
day.
It was funny. The day before was the rehearsal. And so we go there with the wedding party and with Heather, and we're running through like how we walk down the aisle and everything. And it was so funny. Heather would like just be like, all right, so I say this part, yada, yada, yada. And we were like, okay, you do know what you're saying, right? And she's like, yeah, I have about 10 minutes prepared. And we're like, that's a long time to be talking about us. All right, we'll trust you with it. And yeah, it was fucking awesome. It was so good. She mentioned Lucy without either of us asking her to.
Yeah, she thought to mention Lucy. It was so sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so weird though how, because I think also I don't love crying in front of other people.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
But it was so weird how the setting of this. I wasn't embarrassed at all. It's
a free pass.
It just was what it was. And my sister luckily had a bunch of Kleenex stuff down her boobs. So I had to keep taking them out of her dress during the ceremony. Oh my God, the ceremony, by the way. We had the night before. So we were supposed to have a piano player for the ceremony. And there was a miscommunication. I won't say whose fault it was. It wasn't our fault.
It wasn't Kate's fault.
It wasn't Kate's.
And we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. We got an email the night before, so like right before the rehearsal dinner, or after the rehearsal dinner. Even.
Oh yeah, it was like it was after the rehearsal dinner.
No, it was before, because I remember talking about it at the rehearsal dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like right before.
Like 24 hours.
Piano player, 24 hours ago for this wedding. And the piano player's like, by the way, I just wanted to confirm that tomorrow I'm doing cocktail hour and not ceremony. And no.
We were like, but we emailed you in December with the songs that we need you to learn and play for the ceremony.
Yeah, we had screenshots of receipts with like, nope, we asked for these songs. And so we were just...
And if it was the reverse, if it was like, so just confirming I'm good for the ceremony, not cocktail hour, it'd be like, all right, we'll have the DJ fix up cocktail hour. But this was the ceremony that we no longer had music prepared for.
So I picked the music I walked down the aisle to while I was getting my hair done.
That morning? Yeah, and I found, we landed on those that morning.
Yeah.
The wedding party and me and my parents came out to...
It was Heroes,
right? It was a piano cover of Heroes by David Bowie. Initially, it was supposed to be Ziggy Stardust. I'm happy with Heroes. And cried the whole time, for sure.
Well, I didn't know that you were doing that. I was expecting Ziggy. And then upstairs, I was just by myself. Yeah. So I could hear Heroes. And I just was like, fuck, I'm going to cry this entire time. No.
Yes. So Heroes escorted me and my parents, the wedding party.
I found a piano and strings cover of This Must Be the Place by Talking Heads.
It's so good.
It's so good. I love that ended up happening because now I can listen to that.
Yeah.
I have it.
It's so linked to
really
it in the
beautiful.
description of this. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the DJ, Tetris Kelly, who's the best.
Who's awesome. Tetris
got
Kelly.
Us
Thank
set
you, dude.
up. He basically got all the music together and made sure he timed it really well. And then we walked back down the aisle together to Demon Days by Gorillaz, which originally was going to have on piano, but Tetris listened to it and he was like, should just play it straight from the album. And yeah, it was beautiful. Like, it worked so well. I'm so glad that it worked out.
Yeah, it was great.
Even though it was a very stressful 24 hours. Jesus Christ.
Especially because that morning we're apart. Like, you leave to get ready, and then I'm getting ready with the boys, and I'm just like, I'll fleetingly see someone who had just been with you, and I'll be like, she good? Because I know that we just dealt with the stress of this song situation, but it was all good. We did write our own vows. I believe I was supposed to say mine first, but you went first, much to my detriment. Your vows were incredible. And the funniest fucking thing is that the whole time leading up to this, Chelsea's like, I don't know, I'm not a writer.
I'm not a writer.
Oh, too bad you wrote the best fucking vows ever. They were amazing, and I cried nonstop, and it was awesome. And then I had to follow that up with mine, which were fine.
They made me cry. They were good.
No, that's good. Yeah,
Like, they were perfect.
that was the ceremony, and it was fantastic. I literally couldn't look anywhere else besides you because I was just too busy crying, and I felt like walking down the aisle and seeing everyone just from like past and present.
It was really trippy.
It felt like I was in a movie. I'm sure lots of people say that, but like just seeing the collection of like high school friends, college friends, friends from out here. Oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah, even with like everyone having masks on, it was like that didn't even register.
Yeah, let's talk about COVID.
Oh yeah, people are probably like, "Hi, you had a giant wedding."
We did have a 160 person wedding right on the initial downslope of the Omicron.
I feel like peaked a couple days.
It had just crested and was starting to come down when we had our wedding. Obviously, COVID's been a big concern for us this whole time.
Yes, it has been. Omicron, like that happening I was so depressed.
Yeah.
And so, because it was like, we can't move it.
It was too late to move it.
It was do or die, and we couldn't move it.
So we took the measures that we could.
Mandatory vaccines.
Mandatory vaccine, which was the venues requirement.
Right.
We would have done it anyway, but it took that responsibility out of it. But we did request. We required a negative test.
So everyone had to have a negative test to come on top of being vaccinated.
And a few people were texting me the morning of I tested positive. I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. And it sucked that they couldn't be there, but we really appreciated that honesty and that they took it seriously enough to test.
We even had a guest, I think, who was like, I tested negative, but I don't feel good, so I'm not going to come just in case. And it was just nice knowing that we're surrounded by people who are responsible and have everyone's best interest at heart, as much as it sucked not having them there.
And, we were, I don't think I thought of it much the day of or during the event.
No.
It was just not on my mind because I was having too good of a time. But I know the next day, I was like, all right, we'll see. And
that was the waiting game.
Leading into it, I expected people to get COVID. I expected it to just happen at an event that size. And, everyone knew the risk going in. I said that during a speech at the wedding of like, thank you for assessing the risk and deciding this was worth it because we're all here. A lot of people wore masks, but we also ate dinner in a giant room where masks were off. I think by the time the dancing started, most people had gotten rid of the masks because, of the testing and the vaccines. Turns out that 2 days after the wedding, I did get a text from someone saying that they had tested positive, but that they weren't sure when they had gotten it or when it was contagious.
But they told, which was the right thing to do.
Yep, they told us. And so we sent out an email to all of our guests letting them know, hey, this person tested positive. A couple of days after the wedding, they tested negative prior to it. They didn't come to the next day after party that we had. But just so you all know, we waited the 5 days or whatever you're supposed to wait
James
to
and
get tested.
I got the PCR tests.
We got PCR tests, as did our housemates.
Same with my parents and my sister, who were like all staying with us too.
Everyone tested negative.
Not a single other person tested positive for COVID.
And we've gotten many emails and messages from people after that email saying, hey, I went and got tested. I tested negative.
Yeah, a lot of people who they have to get tested for work.
So my guess is that person flew in either the day before or the morning of, maybe got it during travel, but it wasn't contagious at the wedding. They didn't come to the after party, and so they didn't spread it to anyone, and no one else got COVID.
It's incredible.
We probably got lucky, but part of that luck was the precautions that we took and the seriousness with which our guests took it.
Yes.
And I just feel really fortunate that everyone who came took it seriously and that everyone was fine. The one person who tested positive slept for 15 hours and then said they were good the next day. So
yeah,
I'm so grateful that we were able to have that event. And then it wasn't a thing where it was like, wow, the wedding day was amazing, but too bad,
everyone got COVID.
Grandpa Earl died from COVID. Yeah.
And I know how much it must suck too. Just we're fortunate in that we're young and pretty healthy. Everyone there was in a situation where even if they got sick, they knew that they would be, they don't have pre-existing conditions.
And some people didn't come because.
Right, exactly. We had people who couldn't come because they can't afford to get COVID. So that's the thing that really bums me out is I feel like we're in a very privileged position to be like, yeah, you can do stuff. And it's you have to have that safety net of, but hey, vaccines work and so do tests.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Yeah. So that aspect was great. The reception, our wedding party came out to, what's it called? Augie's
It's like
ceremonial.
Augie's
It's the
ceremonial march or something.
It's the song that plays at the end of episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
The Gungans.
Yeah, where he gets the big glowy orb.
Yeah, during the parade. The official title is like Augie's Ceremonial March and End Credits, and we had to tell Tetris, our DJ, like, make sure you cut it off before
Cut it
end
off
credits.
Before it goes into Star Wars.
We don't need Star Wars theme. But they came out to that. It was dope. And then, oh yeah, your sister was your maid of honor, James Gressel. Our
Yes.
housemate was my best man. And he helped us greatly during that. So thank you, Gressel. We
Yeah.
love you, man. He also gave an incredible speech at the
gave-
reception.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, I thought I was dry on tears. He made me cry again. He
Yeah.
squeezed some out.
All cried out
Yeah.
by the end of the day. Yeah.
After the wedding party entered the reception, it was time for our entrance, which I still have not seen a good video of.
I haven't either. It's
and I
weird.
need to, because we came out to Shinsuke Nakamura's theme.
Yeah.
Chelsea with a cape.
I had a red cape on.
Just
It's
like
WWE.
Shinsuke. Yeah, that's
clarify.
a WWE theme. There was a period in, I don't even remember when it was, 2019, 2020, when Sami Zayn was teamed up with Shinsuke and kept saying Shinsuke was an artist. And so he would it was when Sami was too injured to wrestle. So he would just be Shinsuke's hype man and come out and hype him up. And that's what we did.
Yeah, so I came out with the cape because Shinsuke would have the cape and he would swoosh it around and Shinsuke just is crumping. I don't know.
Oh,
or I'm sorry,
Sammy,
Sammy.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sammy just crumping and being like, look at this artist.
That's what I did to the best of my abilities. It involved a lot of jumping. I was very out of breath afterward, and thankfully my suit did not rip at all.
I didn't even think about that.
I was sliding around on that floor, man. I fell back at one point and just kind of turned it into a dance move. So hopefully that was all good. My burgundy, I guess.
It was like burgundy, I
my
think,
suit.
Yeah,
Fucking love that suit.
yeah. Like a brick red. Like it's like a warmer burgundy kind of.
I didn't want a black tux.
Yeah.
It'd be so boring. And
Yeah.
your dress was fucking phenomenal. You know, that first look was when we started the crying,
Yeah.
and it didn't let
I
up
was
after
so
that.
happy you finally got to see the dress. That's
Yeah.
been like a weird just secret for 2 years. Like I had pictures of it on my phone, so I had to make sure like he didn't actually, accidentally see him if I was looking at stuff. So I'm so happy I don't have to hide the dress. But also it was like it's not like a big dress, but the skirt is lots of tulle, and this whole time because we did like a choreographed dance
Yeah.
for our first dance, and I was like, dude, James, I'm real nervous about this skirt because it's I think maybe I made it sound like it was gigantic.
Well, it was pretty big,
It was
and
kinda big.
we did have to modify it for the dance because before the reception started, we got to hop into the room and practice the dance, which we went to 6 lessons, I think, with Krista and Kelvin, your night choreo. Fucking
Yeah, they're so
fantastic.
good.
We got along with them so well. We
were like,
invited
"You wanna
them to
come
the
to our
wedding,
wedding?" Yeah.
and they came and they cheered for us, and they're awesome. And we're gonna take more lessons with them just to dance together because I like dancing with you.
Yeah.
It's great. Chelsea was a ballet.
Yeah, I did
dancer.
ballet for a long time. I
And
did
it
like
shows.
summer ballet intensives and stuff. Like I was constantly doing ballet. when I
So
was in
Krista and
school.
Kelvin got us a fantastic choreographed dance to "As the World Falls Down" by David Bowie from the Labyrinth soundtrack. And we went to their place about I think 6 times to rehearse it. Rehearsed it a lot at home.
Yeah,
Put a lot
like
of
in our dining room.
just practiced it a ton. And then when we got to the reception room and started to rehearse it, you kept slipping on your dress.
So the dress had a really long train and even bustled up where it gets like clipped up in the back. The way that the skirt is, there's like kind of long pieces on the underneath to give it volume, but also those are, because it's tulle, like they swoosh around and stuff. And I would just keep stepping on them. And it's like, the feeling was like when you wear socks on a wooden floor and you slip, and it's that weird, that awful stomach feeling.
You started being like, "I'm so sorry if we can't do this dance."
Yeah, I know. I was genuinely scared that we wouldn't be able to do it because I was like, I don't want to do this if I'm like, even when I was being really careful, I was slipping, and it was such a bad feeling. And finally I was like, you know what? The bottom of it it's tulle. You don't have to hem tulle. Like if you cut tool. You don't have to do anything to it. It won't like fray or anything. And so our planner and her assistant just went to town on they just cut the bottom. Not a ton. Like you wouldn't notice it was cut.
And the ceremony was over and we got the pictures.
Yeah.
Like the good pictures.
And it was like, I'm never going to wear it again. I mean, maybe for something fun. But like in terms of like we've done all the important stuff with it. Just trim it basically.
So
and
they took scissors and just fucking cut around the bottom of it. It was great. She did it in a way to where it worked. And that video is available on the Dead Meat James Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So you can check that out. Yeah. The whole dance. It's like 2.5 minutes. It was one of my favorite parts of the night. I loved it. I loved doing it. I want to do it again.
I know.
I want to dance more with you. It was great.
It was so good. Like, it was just the best day. I felt like I was high the entire day.
Yeah, and we had so many people there. We talked to as many as we could while we weren't jamming out to... So what are some of the tracks that played during the reception that people got fucking pumped for? The Mortal Kombat
theme.
A censored version of Cooking by the Book featuring Lil Jon.
It's like the song from Lazy Town with Lil Jon in it.
And we had our DJ go through and censor out all the, we don't mind swearing, but there were lots of,
he says pussy so much.
Lots of pussies, lots of ride that dick, it's yours, bitch. And we were like, how's this going to play at a wedding? Well, it turns out he censored it, but
everyone, like more people than I thought knew the words to it.
They just shouted them out. Okay. And so they covered it.
Yeah.
Didn't matter that it was censored because you could hear every fucking word of all the people raging out to that on the dance floor, which is great. That's a good one. I think I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan. That was a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Certainly Dracula by Rob Zombie played. And
played the Killer Clowns theme for a little bit.
Yep. John Massari, composer of that film, was in attendance at the wedding.
Yeah.
Yep. Him and his wife.
Yeah, that playlist was just, it devolved into just meme songs real fast.
Oh, Hamster Dance.
Yeah,
Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
Those were all on there.
God, I can't remember what else was on there.
Yeah, I know that when I posted a screenshot of the playlist on Twitter a month or so ago, people were like, can you share it after the wedding? I will. Just remind me to do it.
It's 4 hours long.
Yeah, they didn't play every song on it because the reception's only 2 or 3 hours long. But Tetris worked his magic and did the perfect selection of it. We did do the Stevie Wonder, My Eyes Don't Cry No More, a.k.a. the Detroit Hustle. Led that line dance. And there was a special occasion that Tetris introduced on the mic about the time that we went to Mike and Beth's wedding and requested that their DJ play Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. And he looked at us and said no. And so we got to play it at our wedding. And I, in fact, rapped along with it. We only played the first verse, but that was enough to get a little bit of Freddie D in at the wedding.
I wanted to have I feel like I mentioned this on our pod, like literally when we first got engaged, and I think we picked our venue because they give us the like 2 signature cocktails. I literally think like years ago on the podcast, I was like, I want our cocktails to be chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water.
Yeah, we forgot to name our cocktails, but they were fine.
Supposed to name them?
I think we had the option to and just forgot to, but I chose an old fashioned and you had a ginger.
It was like a ginger lavender. I don't remember what it was.
Really good.
It was really good.
All
I
the
had
food
a lot
was
of
good.
Them.
All the drink was good.
Yeah.
The music, everything was fucking great.
Yeah. My first dance, my dance with my dad.
That's right.
Was so if you listen to this podcast, you know that I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and so. I mean, I watched that all the time as a kid with my parents, so my dad loves it too. And we did tequila for our dance together, and I walked with my dad out to the dance floor, and he did like I forgot something. He turned around and grabbed these giant platform shoes from under the table, and he helped me put them on, and so then we did the little and James played the saxophone, and it was so good.
I learned that song a week beforehand.
Yeah.
And like playing it wasn't that difficult. There was a fun solo in it that I had to learn, but then I had to memorize it because I didn't want to be sitting there reading music. but I did it.
Yeah, it was so good.
Broke out the tenor sax. I think there's a video of that I can post of the dance and the sax because I was pretty proud of that. I think a lot of people learned that day that I can play a mean saxophone.
We passed out tequila shots too during that song.
Some people drank theirs too early and got a second one.
The DJ had to get on the mic and be like, please, if you're getting handed shots, do not drink them yet. Because dude, it was so, like, it was a very drunk
It was a
wedding.
very open bar. So.
Yes. I think there's just a lot of pent up energy too. Like, it was pretty cool being such a big event after. It's like we've all been cooped up.
Yeah.
And
My first dance, or my dance with my mom, was to Somewhere Out There from
American Tail.
American Tail. She chose that song just because it's a song about being distant, because she's in Florida, I'm in California. And your dad gave a great speech about how you were young and would go to the union halls. And
That was so funny because I think a lot of my friends realize, like, oh, Chelsea's not exaggerating when she talks about, like, her union upbringing. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, man.
like that was the first thing
It
you
was the
mentioned.
first, you're like, yeah, Chelsea would always be with me at the Union Hall and Labor Day parades.
Yeah, and so he had a written speech, and then my parents were to give a speech, and they were like, we didn't write anything. Is that okay? I was like, yeah, just speak from the heart. And they gave a very nice,
It was
impromptu,
very nice.
wonderful speech. And yeah, it was so nice to be, I don't know, it was so nice to be celebrated. It was so nice to see all the people there for us and enjoying our love. And then because we knew that we wouldn't have the chance to talk to everyone who we wanted to there, the next day we finally got to share our house with so many people who hadn't seen it and have an all-day after party, even had a taco truck come. And that was really cool because even some people who couldn't make it to the wedding came to the after party.
That was nice.
And that was like from noon to 1 a.m. event.
I mean, God, I went to bed and people were still here.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I'm tapping
Jackass
out.
3D got put on at
Yeah,
one point.
we were watching Jackass 3D. There was like a room of us, and it was like room of us watching Jackass, and then everyone else who would pop in and be like, "Oh no!" And they would go to
pop
a different
in,
room.
see someone with a helicopter attached to their penis getting spun around, and then be like, "I'm gonna go in the other room."
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm so glad that it worked out the way it did. I will always remember just the way you looked up there at the altar, and
It was the best. Oh, so I'm just glad I don't have to plan a wedding anymore.
that was the other thing. Is like now the week after was like a nice break.
Yeah, I needed to recover.
We just played Subnautica, and we're still playing that.
We're
Just,
still
like,
playing Subnautica,
slept.
let's be honest.
We didn't go on an immediate honeymoon because ideally we'd like to go to Australia.
I really want to go to Australia, so
And I think they're still kind of locked down. And also I think we just need a break.
and I just,
I want to travel when everything's open
yeah.
and it's more comfortable. So
Yeah.
when we get the chance to, we will go to Australia for our honeymoon, and that'll be great. And you will hopefully all be understanding
Yeah, when we take more time off.
when we take more time off, because knowing that we didn't get to do our honeymoon immediately after the wedding.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, I mean, we've already hit the ground running this week. We had a 3-hour team meeting the other day.
Yeah, for stuff that's coming up this year.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to look forward to. When does Kill Count come back? Or I mean, Kill Count, but like, when do you on Kill Count come back?
Yes, of course. Zoran is doing the kill counts for now. And as of now, the schedule will be alternating on Fridays between a Zoran kill count of Tremors and a podcast episode.
Yeah, so the podcast is, I did want to make sure we
Yes.
mention this. It's on Friday, every other Friday now, and it is every other week, which I know, like, it must suck if you listen to something every week and then it's like, that sucks.
yeah.
I get it. I'm sorry. The every week release was getting real tough. It just felt like as soon as we finished an episode, it was just so immediately onto the next one that I didn't have time to like flesh out stuff as much as I wanted. Or if I did, then it was exhausting. Like it was too much. Like the weeks where I did really make an episode the way I wanted it to be made, I was working like unsustainable hours. So it's got to be every other week now, I think. But
Yeah.
that'll leave us time to do, go back to some more researchy ones, and I don't know. I think it'll just be a better show.
Yeah. We'll be able to devote more time and energy to each episode rather than rushing them out. Zoran is killing it with the Tremors kill counts. I am still involved with those to a small degree. I do like read over his scripts, do a little bit of a rewrite on them because I can't not.
Yeah.
I can't not. I have to be involved, especially with the show that I built up. But I will be back hosting Kill Counts. I think July 1st is a Friday. So that will be the perfect time. 6 months away from the Kill Count. Back on July 1st. The first episode back will be Halloween Kills because, that's one that people are waiting to see. So you can look forward to that. But in the meantime, we're going to be doing lots of stuff.
Yeah.
We have lots of plans. We'll see what happens and what doesn't. We probably don't have the time or energy to do everything we want to do, especially because we are working on getting a movie made.
Yeah, we're producing a movie.
Yes, we are producing a movie that our friend Nick wrote. It is I can tease some details, right?
Yeah.
It's a horror comedy about inspired by the football rivalry between Michigan, our alma mater, and Ohio State University. And it's a script that Nick wrote a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that
I've been working on it with him for like years at this point, trying to get it made. And it feels like it's finally happening now.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a good script. I'm really excited about it.
You two have been working on it for years. He brought in a producer named Mark Sennett, who has produced some Stephen King miniseries films with Mick Garris before. And then I came onto the project to just help and give my opinions and stuff. We've made sure that it will be a gory,
yes,
fun.
Like it has to be gory. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's like our big thing.
Yep, and we're aiming for like a freaky-esque tone of it's a horror comedy, but one that doesn't hold back as far as the kills go.
Yeah,
because that's important to us. Obviously,
we're having Max DeLeo directing.
Yes, first time director, but if you look up his name on
IMDb
IMDb
credits are wild.
Yeah, he's done cam op and like second unit
Marvel
directing
stuff.
on tons of Marvel movies.
Clint Eastwood stuff.
So like
Soderbergh,
yeah. So he is an experienced man who is ready to move on to directing, and apparently has the full trust and faith of a lot of people who have worked with him, ready for him to take this step and are ready to work with him in that capacity. We are moving along on that process.
So look forward to it.
Pre-game is the name. It's going to be awesome. We will make sure of that.
Yes.
You know us. You should trust us by now. Hopefully.
All right. I feel like that's it for this week. Yeah. Not next week. I guess next episode. So the week after next. Wow. There's like not an elegant way to get
next
into
episode.
On our next episode, Friday after next, we are going to review The Night House. Because we haven't fucking seen it yet.
Yeah.
And I really want to.
I expect to like it.
Yes. I don't know. I'm trying to go into no expectations.
I saw a single trailer for it.
The trailer's
and
very
it looked
cool.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not going to read or see any more trailers. I'm just going to go see it. Didn't get a chance to when it was out in theaters. So let's see it now and review it on this podcast. I am hoping that it is as good as I hope it will be.
Yeah. We'll have to watch it early enough just in case it's one of those movies where I'm like, oops, we watched this and there's so many layers that I got to spend hours thinking about it and writing really detailed notes about my analysis of it. Because that sometimes movies are just stealth, like, really dense.
It'll happen last minute and then you're screwed. So we'll watch it real soon.
Yeah.
And is that all we got for now?
I think so. Feels good to be back. I feel like I'm still exhausted from getting
I think
here.
that's just life.
That's just what this is now.
Yeah.
This is being an adult. Doesn't help we've been up like every night up to like 2 or 3 playing Subnautica.
Subnautica Below Zero.
Subnautica Below Zero, which is very good.
Yeah.
And I want to go play that.
Yeah. Gotta spruce up our base a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, our bass is really fucking cool.
Especially when we got the jukebox and now we're playing all those awesome Subnautica songs.
Dude, the Subnautica soundtrack. Does Subnautica count enough as horror to just do an episode about Subnautica?
It's your podcast.
It's my podcast, baby. Oh, man. We got a truck named Trucky. It's great. We're having a good time playing that game.
It's very good. Okay. Who starts the outro nowadays?
I think you start it until next week.
Oh, yeah, social medias.
Oh, yeah.
For now, at Dead Meat James on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We were talking about maybe changing it to Team Dead Meat.
And
So it's
for
not just
now,
me.
at Carebeck, CREVECC on Twitter and Instagram. Might change it to ? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something that is like a word and not like my automatically generated user email from college
Yeah.
that I've just been using since then. I don't know.
I don't know. Follow us on there and then just keep following it.
We're doing lots of like housekeeping right now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tis the season. Mm-hmm. But until next time, or is that right?
Yeah, until next time, because that's not next week.
Yeah. But you don't start that?
I don't remember.
How about you start it?
So until next time, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James.
And this has been the Dead Meat Podcast.